For this week's close reading, I decided to do Queen Elizabeth's speech at Tilbury. Queen Elizabeth's speech at Tilbury is one of my personal favorites that we've read during this online class. The reason for that is I've understood the speech from start to finish, and just the way it's worded and the motivation that it has throughout the speech is just, to me, so interesting to read. But going back and examining this speech, I found a lot of helpful literary elements that Queen Elizabeth used during this. First, one of the elements that is used is tone and mood. So, in her first line here, it says, we have been persuaded by some that are careful of our safety." So what this kind of means is that she's talking to her men right now, and she's kind of saying that you guys are the ones chosen to protect us, to protect England. Okay? So just from the start, that we know that this is a uplifting speech. It's a motivation speech. They're about to go and fight in a battle, and this is the last speech that they have of motivation. I like to think about it like in present time, like if you're going to play in a big game, it's like the last song you listen to get you pumped up. And that's what Queen Elizabeth is doing right now, and that is the tone of the speech. So, after that, we realize that there is a major conflict. Because why is she giving this speech if there is no conflict, correct? So, the major conflict is that there is a threat from the Spanish invasion. Okay, so if I scroll up here, it's just a little background of what was going on during this time period. So this speech was written in 1588, and it was written obviously at Tilbury. So I'm just going to read this line to you. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 has long been held as one of England's greatest military achievements. So let me scroll down here. Let's go back to the reading. So that was just to let you guys know that what was kind of going on. So there was a battle. This was a huge thing during the time, and at the time, Queen Elizabeth was, the Queen of England, and she gave this speech to lead her troops to victory, and that's what happened. So I was going through a lot of these literary elements, and I kind of found this was interesting because one of my favorite literary element is foreshadowing. I love foreshadowing, and I really wanted to see if I could find it in here. But then again, I realized you can't find foreshadowing in this speech because at this time of event, foreshadowing is not possible. This was a speech given before, a drastic event that took place, and you didn't know what was going to happen. And just to refresh, foreshadowing is words or sentences that lead up to something that you know that's going to happen, and in this speech, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so then let's go to allusion. So I have a quote right over here, and it starts with saying, "And think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any price of Europe." So this is an allusion, and it alludes to the political situation of the time, which had been well known by the contemporary audience. Okay. And then right after that, we talk about imagery. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys my favorite line in this speech, and I think I've used it in every discussion response when I can relate back to this because I just love it. But she says, "I know I have the body, but of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of my king and of a king of England too." And I love this because during this time period, women were not leaders. Women had no individual rights. Women weren't placed in this role, and this was new. This was different. And relating this to other authors that we've talked about during this class, like Bradstreet, these women came from a time period where they were different. They were the difference makers. They opened the ropes for women now, and it's amazing. And I love that line because it's like she's telling the truth. She's saying, "Hey, listen, guys, I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm weak. I'm not a man. Not a man. I don't have the qualities that you men have that go out and fight, but I have the stomach of a king." And pretty much what she's saying, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. You can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter, men or boy, men or guy, whatever it is, women or men. It doesn't matter. We're all the same people, and I love that how she said that. And that's gonna wrap it up for me. So I hope that was a success. Thank you.